I've created over 2,000 video sales letters across 48 different industries, and today I'm going to show you our exact video sales letter formula that has generated us over $25 million in sales. And if you stay until the end, I'm going to show you how you can download our video sales letter template so that you can create your own video sales letter using this formula in a matter of minutes. So this is our video sales letter formula, and each one of these boxes represents a different element you need to create a multi-million dollar video sales letter. So I'm actually going to reveal each one of these boxes, explain to you why you need it, and then show you specific examples to go along with it. That way, by the end of this, you'll see an entire video sales letter that we're going to create in this video together. Now, before I reveal the first box, let me address the elephant in the room. Do you even need a video sales letter in the first place? The short answer is absolutely, unequivocally yes. There are so many studies that show that the majority of buyers make their buying decision long before they book the sales call or walk into your store. In today's highly competitive, information abundant marketplace, your prospects don't want to have to get on a sales call in order to learn more about your offer. Actually, quite frankly, if you're forcing them to get on a sales call, they're just not going to get on the sales call. They're going to go to your competitors who are offering more information before they're asking them to book. And that's because prospects want to get to know you before they're even going to make a decision whether they want to work with you or not. So if you're trying to compress an entire sales process into one 60-minute call, it's likely the reason why you're having low show-up rates, low close rates, low cash collected, et cetera, et cetera. Now, compare that to the person that gives the prospect all the information that they need and even persuades them why they're the solution to the problems. That person's always going to have more bookings, higher show-up rates, higher close rates, and higher cash collected. And the most efficient way to educate and inform and persuade your prospects is going to be through a video sales letter. So let's walk through what you need to do to create your own. The first thing you need is you need to create some pain in your video sales letter. Now, the reason why we do this first and the reason why we do this at all is for a few different reasons. The first is going to be you need to have a gap in order to see change. If there is no gap in the prospect's mind, then they're not going to pull out their credit card and pay you any money. So if they think that everything's just okay or the pain's not that great, then there's no reason for them to book a call. There's no reason to pay you thousands of dollars to get the solution. And if they don't even know that there's a problem in the first place, well, then you definitely don't want to speak to those people because once again, there's not enough gap between where they are and where they want to be. The other reason why we like to start with pain as the first element of a video sales letter is because it helps identify the right people. So for example, the one that I'm going to give here is going to be for like a fitness offer. So as you can see this example in the top box here, I say, embarrassed to see yourself naked, question mark. So I might start a video sales letter with that very bold statement. I'm going to say, hey, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? What does that do? Well, first of all, it's going to create a gap and it's going to attract the people that are embarrassed to see themselves naked. And nobody wants to be embarrassed to see themselves naked. And so by automatically saying that in the very beginning, I'm creating this gap from like, okay, they do want to see themselves naked, but they're embarrassed to do so right now. That's that gap. The second thing I'm doing is I am identifying the right people. So by saying embarrassed to see yourself naked, anybody who is not embarrassed to see themselves naked are immediately going to drop off this video sales letter. And that's why a lot of people, when they're looking at video sales letters, they always look at kind of the retention curve, which is how long somebody watches the video sales letter, like almost like a YouTube video. And they think, oh, if I have this big drop off in the very beginning, that's a bad thing. I don't want a big drop off. Where I actually argue that you do want a big drop off because as I've talked about in a few of my other videos where I go through video sales letter funnels and different funnels you can create to scale your offer, the percentage of the market that is actually your ideal avatar is always going to be a small percent of a small percent. So whenever you're running big marketing campaigns, whether through organic content or through paid ads, you're trying to get this huge audience to this one page, and then you're only trying to extract out the small 1% to 3% of people that are your ideal customers. And if you do this earlier on in the process, like in the first 3 seconds of the video sales letter, then you won't have to deal with it later on in the process, like having unqualified people that don't have any pain show up on your sales calls and waste everybody's time. Okay. So that's why we always start with the pain and the problem. And I'm going to give you a fun little stat here. One of our offers that we have in the very beginning of the video sales letter, I switched the pain point from, are you struggling to get leads to, are you struggling with rising ad costs? And when I switched that, almost overnight, we went from getting people who were making $0 to $5,000 a month to people that were making $30,000 to $50,000 a month. Why? Because people that are struggling with rising ad costs are typically spending money on ads, and if they're spending money on ads, they're typically making enough money to invest into ads in the first place. And so just by saying those few words in the very beginning, are you struggling with rising ad costs, I am identifying people that already have maybe a business that's a little bit further along than those who just want more leads, which could literally be anybody, even beginners. So the first element of every single really great video sales letter is the pain. Now you can list out multiple pain points. So I could say, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked, tired of being alone, wishing that you could blah, blah, blah. So these are all different pain elements that I'm kind of jabbing into. And the third and final reason why we like to start with pain is because of something called the levels of awareness. Now I have a different video where I go deeper on the levels of awareness, but essentially every marketplace has different levels of awareness. And one of the highest levels that you can have is a pain level. They're pain aware. So let's say right here, there's unaware, and then there's pain right here, okay? So the reason why we have this first is because we don't want to say right off the bat, hey, do you want to lose weight? Or, hey, do you want to work out 6 days a week? Because then we're only going to get people that are further down the funnel. But what we really want to do is we want to try to capture people at higher point in the funnel and then bring them down the funnel through the rest of the video sales letter. So instead of starting at the very beginning saying, this is what I'm going to do to get you clients, or starting the video by saying, you're going to have to work out 6 times a week, or here's the special diet that you need, I can start with a much larger pain point that a larger group of people are going to have, which is that you're embarrassed to see yourself naked. The next element of a great video sales letter is going to be your transformation or your claim. Now, I have a lot of different additional trainings that go into transformations and claims, but this is your one sentence statement that lets somebody know exactly what you do. The reason why we put this earlier on inside the video sales letter is because, once again, going to this retention curve, even the best written video sales letters in the world will still have a pretty big drop off within the first 15 to 25 seconds. And so I want to be able to tell that person, if I'm spending a lot of time, energy, and effort getting them to my video sales letter, I wanted to be able to tell that person exactly what I can do in just a few seconds. That way, in case they bounce off, if they don't click and book a call to speak with me, et cetera, they at least know how I could help them in the future. And I also always call this the corner store test. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to make a statement that if you walk to your local corner store, wherever you are in the world, and you are buying something and they said, oh, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name's Ravi. Oh, nice to meet you, Ravi. What do you do? You could tell the person that worked at the corner store, I do this, right? So in this example here, I help people lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. If I said that, very simple, everybody would understand it, okay? Today I was looking at a client's transformational statement, and they had said something way too complex. It was like, I help aspiring baseball professionals increase their structure so that they can get into a professional school, something along those lines. It was way too wordy. And what does increase your structure mean? The corner store test would not be passed if you said something like that. So you want to keep it incredibly simple. This is also, I sometimes call this the sauna test, only because in Miami, I go to saunas all the time, and I'm talking to people, and they're always like, oh, what do you do? And for me, I say, I build custom end-to-end marketing systems for other companies, or I help companies scale, right? Things like that. That way, if you say it to them and they're the ideal person, they might say, oh, tell me more. But if you say, oh, what do you do? And then you just go blah, 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 blah. You're just read on and on. You've lost the person in the first 7 seconds. So we really want a strong transformation statement and a claim. Now, there is another thing I want to talk about when it comes to transformation statements and claims, and that is that in today's marketplace, you need to make bold claims. Now, you don't want to lie. Absolutely never, ever lie. But if you're struggling to convert prospects, if you're getting a lot of attention, but you're not turning them into qualified book calls and sales, it might be because you're not making a strong enough claim. So this one here says, I can help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. If I said, I can help you lose 2 pounds the next 12 weeks, guaranteed, I'm probably not going to get a lot of takers on it, right? And I'm just showing you an extreme of what that could look like. Now, I'm going to help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks. That might be kind of extreme, and this is just an example here. But if I could back that up, that my average client was seeing that, then that would be a really good transformational statement, okay? So we want to make these statements very, very bold. And if you're saying, Ravi, I can't make that statement, I can't make a strong enough statement, well, then stop what you're doing, stop focusing so much on marketing, go back to your products and work on it until you can make a bold statement. I'll give you an example inside of our business. Right now, recently, in the last 60 days, we changed our transformation statement to saying, we will build you a custom, totally done for you, end-to-end marketing system in the next 7 days. So before, we used to build custom end-to-end done for you marketing systems. Everybody else does the same thing. Everyone's copying us. So then I took it a step further and I said in the next 7 days, because if you go back to Alex Ramosey's $100 million offers, one of the things that you can always do is shorten the time frame and the sacrifice the person has to make if they work with you. So most people, they get their campaigns up and launched within 30, 45, 60 days, if they even get them up and launch at all. But our clients, and that's what we cover in our video sales letter, we actually get everything up and running within 7 days. That is what our average client sees their campaign launch. That means some a little bit more, some a little bit less, but the average person is within 7 days. So I had to work relentlessly with our client success team in order to be able to make that claim. So it took us about 60 days of adjusting our client success process and proving that it worked before I went and I changed it inside the video sales letter. Because you don't want to be lying to people, but I challenge you that if you're saying I can't make that strong of a statement, go back and work on your product until you can make that statement. So at this point, we've said, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? My name's Ravi Abuvala, and I can help you lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. So that took about 6 or 7 seconds. And even if this person doesn't take a next step with us, even if they never book a call throughout the rest of the time in this video sales letter page here, at least they know who I am. And they stayed a little bit longer because I said, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? So I know they're my ideal prospect. So later on, when they see a retargeting ad, when they're out at dinner and somebody says, hey, did you hear about that Ravi Abuvala guy? Whatever else is happening, they now know who I help, people that are embarrassed to see themselves naked, and what I do. I can help them lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks, guaranteed. Now, a quick thing on a risk reversal. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the video sales letter, but I said guaranteed here. There's a bunch of pros and cons to adding guarantees. It's another example of making a stronger, bolder claim is by giving a guarantee. There's multiple different versions of guarantees. You can do, we'll keep on working with you guarantee, a money back guarantee, or you could even do a money back guarantee and I'll write you a check on top of it for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Now you should do the math, because a lot of people may be surprised to know that when they start throwing in guarantees all willy-nilly, what happens is that they do definitely get more sales, but then they're getting sales from people who are very risk averse, and then they want to start using their guarantees. And what they might figure out is even though they're making more sales, they end up making the same amount of money that they were previously because of all the refunds, guarantees, and chargebacks that they're dealing with. And the truth is, if you do the rest of these video sales letter steps correctly, you don't need to have a guarantee. A guarantee is like the cheapest way to get more attention, eyeballs, and calls in your funnel. And if you don't have to have it, then I don't recommend doing it. And you'll actually see in our video sales letter, we don't offer money back guarantees. And that's for a bunch of different reasons I can talk about in a different video, but you can make the decision whether it's worth it or not. And you can see here in ours that we don't have it, but in this example, I do have it. All right, so let's keep it going here. So far we say, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? I can help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. Now we go into who this is for. So this is the point where we have said, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? I can help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks guaranteed. So we've captured their attention. We've told them what we do. And now we're going to go a little bit deeper into who this is for. The reason why we don't start with who this is for is because we haven't jabbed any pain point. We haven't created that gap that I talked about earlier from where they are to where they want to be. So if I start the video sales letter and I say, if you are a coach, consultant, agency owner, or if I say something like, if you are out of shape, if you are a man in your 20s, like, okay, what if you've lost somebody already? So you almost need to like jab a knife into them, obviously metaphorically speaking. I'm not asking you to murder anybody, but jab a knife into them to get them hooked. That's why it's called a hook, by saying, are you embarrassed to see yourself overweight? Oh, damn, I am embarrassed to see myself overweight. Well, I can guarantee you that we're going to lose you 40 pounds the next 12 weeks. Oh, wow, that's interesting. And so now if we had to kind of draw a funnel right here by saying, are you embarrassed to see yourself overweight? We have like captured, let's say this is everybody that reached the traffic page when we first got there, but then we said, are you embarrassed to see yourself overweight? Well, now we have it down to these people here. And so then we want to do another who this is for kind of call out here to get a little bit more specific. So I might say something like, look, if you are at least 50 pounds overweight, if you're tired of not finding a partner, and if you need to see a change today, then pay close attention. So I'm kind of narrowing down this audience all within the first, let's say 15 to 30 seconds in my video sales letter here so that I can make sure when I get to the offer, when people are booking calls and they're showing up the calls, we're doing the most qualified people possible. We're speaking with the most qualified people possible. And most people, when I talk about adding in these like qualifiers and I talk about the pain and the problem and who this is for, most people say, oh no, let me just get on the call with as many people as possible and then I'll disqualify them that way. The issue with that is that you're going to end up with trying to scale the most unscalable part of this entire funnel, which is your sales team. So if you have to get on sales calls in order to close people into your offer, which is who we help, then what happens is you're getting on, let's say you book 10 sales calls in a day, you might have 7 of them unqualified and all those people show up. So then you're closing 1 out of 10 people, but in reality, only 3 out of 10 are qualified to begin with. And so you're extending out your sales cycle. You're taking way more calls than you need to. And then when you hire a sales team, sure, you might be filling out a sales team's calendar, but they're very unmotivated because all these people don't have pain. They don't have urgency. There's no gap. They're not qualified, et cetera, et cetera. So it's way easier to make these qualifications earlier on in this sales process and earlier on in the video sales letter so we can make sure that, sure, we're going to have a little bit less of a throughput than if we got all of these people to go through. But if these people have urgency, if they have a huge pain point, if they have a huge desire, they want to make a change, well, then we're going to have way higher show up rates, way more qualified people on calls, way higher close rates, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why after I say, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? My name is Abuvala, and I can help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks guaranteed. Now, pay attention very closely if you're at least 50 pounds overweight, if you're tired of not finding your significant other and being lonely, and you need to see a change today. So once again, we're going narrower, narrower, narrower. So I'm saying, who is this for? Okay. Next step inside the video sales letter formula is going to be social proof and credibility. Now, why are we going to social proof and credibility this early on? And some people might say, why are we doing it this late? Because a lot of people say, first thing, I can do this thing and guarantee social proof, social proof, social proof. The thing here is that you want to follow almost like an organic, almost like you're telling a story. So if I was to come out here and tell a story to you and I was saying, yeah, in the last 12 weeks, I've lost 40 pounds, right? I wouldn't first come out and say, look at this photo of me with my shirt off. I would say, you want to hear something insane? In the last 12 weeks, I've lost 40 pounds. Here's that photo of me with my shirt off. You see how much more organic and natural that is? And the reason why we put social proof and credibility after we make our transformation claim is because what goes through your mind as soon as I say, I can help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks guaranteed? First thing that goes in your mind is BS. Baloney. It's a fugazi. It's a fugazi. This is not true. Your BS meter's going off the chart. Everybody comments scam, scam, scam whenever they see something online. So immediately they're thinking that this person's not telling the truth, right? When I say we can build you a totally custom, done for you end-to-end marketing system in your business in the next 7 days, you're saying, yeah, whatever. Yeah, right. You're just like everybody else making these big, bold promises online. But then you show the social proof and credibility. And this can be in a variety of different ways. So the way that we extract this from our clients, we break this down into something like accolades. So I'll say accolades. We'll say social proof, and we'll say associations, and we'll say public relations, which is PR. Okay, so this is how you can use social proof. So almost anybody has at least one of these things. It'd be really great if you have all of them. So accolades would be something like, I am a doctor. I am a, board certified nutritionist. I am a blah, blah, blah. Insert this school thing that I went here, the certification that I got here. Social proof is obviously going to be you or your client's results. So in this example here, I say, I've helped people like Bob, who's lost 60 pounds in 8 weeks. I've helped Sarah, who's lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks. I've helped James, who've lost 90 pounds in 18 weeks. Whatever else it is, I'm showing people just like them, seeing the results that they want to see, backing up that transformation statement that I made earlier. And remember, you can use your own social proof as part of this. So you can say, I've done this as well. A lot of people watching this might not have hundreds or thousands of clients like we do, but you have at least you, and that's at least one person that you can get to then get another person to then get that person's successes out of that social proof and over and over and over again. For us, if you go to scalingwithsystems.com/wins, you'll see over 1,100 published social proofs, like literally screenshots of our clients seeing wins published on our website. So you want to slowly accumulate that over time. That way, every time you're writing a video sales letter, you can just kind of extract from this and put it inside of your social proof credibility section. The next is going to be associations. Now, associations is really helpful because there's something called the law of association, right? Or I think it's association bias or something like that. But the idea behind it is that if I see you next to somebody that I respect, then I somewhat respect you. Because if I respect that person and they're spending time with you, then you must be a respectable person. If I had Mother Teresa right next to me and I was talking to Mother Teresa, I actually don't know if Mother Teresa is alive or dead, but if I had I think she's dead, but if I had Mother Teresa right next to me or the Dalai Lama, you might think, oh wow, this person must be a gentle, giving, kind person, because those are all the things you associate with Mother Teresa or Dalai Lama. If you go to my sales pages or my video sales letter, I talk about how I've worked with or I'm friends with or I've been around some of the biggest names in our industry, people that run $100 million plus companies, and they've asked me for my advice. So just by the association, if you don't know who I am, well, you know that person, that person, that person. If they're all hanging out with this guy, then he must be a great guy. It's the same way when you're hanging out in a group of friends and you meet somebody else and your friend introduces you to that friend and all of a sudden you click right away. It's because, yeah, you probably trust that person because they're alike and you're like your friend and et cetera, et cetera. So those are what associations are. And then there's public relations. So these would be like, I've been on Fox News, I've been on Entrepreneur, I'm on Forbes 30 Under 30, I've been on this podcast. Now, obviously, the more relevant to who this is for, this person that they would understand, the better off it's going to be. So let's say, for example, I'm doing this fitness weight loss offer, and I say that I have a ClickFunnels 2 Comma Club award, or I've been on the Go High Level stage or something like that. Those people aren't really going to know those references, right? So you really want to make sure that whatever social proof or associations or PR or accolades you're doing, it's relevant to who you're trying to do this for. I know that sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised at, the things that people throw out there because they think that, oh, this person's going to find this impressive when they really don't. There is also like material social proof and credibility, and this is what I call hard flex versus soft flex. Hard flex, soft flex. And this is because, technically speaking, that law of associations can also be a part of material stuff, right? So, for example, right now I have a decent watch on my wrist, the Cartier Santos, and so I would consider this a soft flex. I mean, I didn't really think of this when I put this on, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm talking about this. You see this. I don't know if you can see these other watches back here. So I have tens of thousands of dollars worth of watches behind me. So you might not be a watch person, but you probably value money, and so you see that I might have money, and so that's an association, right? Now, a hard flex would be if I was like, yo, check out this video, right? That's called a hard flex because I'm just like, no one likes a hard flex. Don't be that person. Don't do a hard flex, but you can do soft flexes, right? This is my office in my house. This is a decent sized office. This is a nice background here. This is a nice microphone, all things I've invested in. That must mean I must be a professional person. I take this stuff seriously. I'm not in my basement. These are all associations. So I won't spend any more time on the social proof and credibility, but this is a section for you to brag about yourself a little bit. And you can do it both verbally and you can do it non-verbally using visual cues. Like I talked about the background, the mic, this, whatever else it is, right? People are soaking it all in at the exact same time. So let's go through our video sales letter so far. Are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? Well, my name is Ravi Abuvala, and I'm going to show you how I can help you lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. Now, this is only for somebody who's over 50 pounds overweight. If this person is tired of not finding their partner or being lonely, and if they literally need to see a change tomorrow, or they don't think they can do it anymore. And I know what you're thinking right off the bat. There's no way Ravi can do this. How can he make these bold claims? Well, you might not know, but my best friend is Dr. Oz. And also, I'm friends with Andrew Huberman. And I've worked with over 350 men just like you who are overweight, and I've helped them lose over 40 pounds in 12 weeks, like Bob and James and blah, 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 blah. I've also been featured on some of the largest stages in our industry, like intro stage here, intro stage here, intro stage here. And I'm frequently asked for advice by some of the biggest influencers in our industry, this person here, this person here, this person here. So once again, at this point, we've probably spent legitimately 2 minutes. And they already know, we've already identified and only spoken to our ideal person. We've called them out literally by all their pain points. We've created a gap. They know exactly what we do, and they're starting to believe us more because we're throwing social proof and credibility. It's actually not even the worst thing in the world. This person went down and booked a call to speak with us right now, or if they bounce, because they already have a lot of information about you. And even if this person hopped on the sales call, they're already going to be in a more likely to be in a buying position than if they literally just saw an ad, clicked on it, and booked a call immediately. Okay? So let's keep on moving and grooving here. Next step are going to be the mechanisms. Now, this section is going to be a little bit more in depth, okay? But that's because this is the meat of the video sales letter. So like I talked about previously, if this section here is 3 minutes long, your mechanism section and the section that comes next, this could be 10 minutes long, right? And this is all relative. You could have this up to 60 minutes if you wanted to. If you ask me, a great video sales letter is going to be somewhere between 8 minutes and 20 minutes. Otherwise, it's really difficult to hold somebody's attention. So mechanisms. Now, what is a mechanism? A mechanism is essentially how you're going to help deliver the transformation or claim that you talked about earlier. Now, this is important because it's almost part of this social proof and credibility, and the person that's watching this video is still trying to write you off. They're still trying to say, yes, that person's a scam. I don't believe that person. Yes, there's no way this is true, but you've kept them long enough because you've backed it up to the point that it's social proof and credibility. So let's go back and let's think of the human psychology. If I'm telling a story and I'm saying like, hey, I can help you lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks. Here's all the people that I've done it for already. What's the thing that's going on your mind immediately? He's probably going to say diet. He's probably going to say I need to work out 6 days a week. He's probably going to say that I need to give up all my fun and friends and all this other stuff, right? So they're automatically, okay, yeah, this is possible, but he's doing these things over here and I've tried that before and it doesn't work, right? And that's why you want to introduce your mechanisms, but more specifically, you want to introduce what is known as unique mechanisms. Now, I don't have time to go through, like, this is a whole video in and of itself, what unique mechanisms are. And this is something I spend a lot of time with my clients trying to create it. But a unique mechanism is something that's different than the rest of the marketplace. And the main thing about unique mechanisms is you want it scientific sounding, so scientific. And the second is you want it non-Googleable, okay, if that's a word, Googleable. So these two things are important because if it's scientific, and I'm not saying something like, and the way you're going to lose these pounds is going to be through like Ravi's crazy 10-step amazing ultra slim diet, that doesn't really sound like, oh, it's okay, this person's just making this stuff up. Versus if I use words, like let's go through some words that P90X, right? The low ticket funnel, a lead magnet, like these are words that people use to sell things, right? Go next time you're buying a package or buying something from Amazon and look at the description. I was ordering a battery for my car yesterday, and when I was on this Amazon thing, it said like, and with our intelligent something technology, you'll be able to, the battery will shut off as soon as it reaches 100% so it doesn't overfry the battery, right? So I'm pretty positive that every single battery charger for cars do that, but because they have this like intelligent, let's call it intelligent charging technology, they made it seem way cooler than the other battery that says, yeah, our battery just shuts off when it's charged. This one's like, with our proprietary intelligent shut-off technology, we're able to prevent your battery from frying, right? So I inevitably bought that one. Now, obviously, I'm a marketer, so I kind of read through it, but the idea being that they put more time, energy, and effort into it, and they made it sound way cooler. Oh, another great example is muscle confusion. That's another good one, muscle confusion. So it's like, that's how we grow. So with P90X, we follow our proprietary muscle confusion system that prevents your muscles from ever having any idea what they're doing. So these are all things that I'm using to sell my mechanism in a way that they've never done before. You've never gained muscle before because you've never confused your muscles. You've always, made them understood easily. And so through our stuff, you're going to be able to confuse your muscles, and that way it's going to grow because a confused muscle grows, right? Because of these scientific reasons here. So the first thing is that it's scientific. So it needs to be something that sounds like it would be in a Harvard Business Review article. And the other thing, it needs to be non-Googleable. Now, the reason why I say non-Googleable is because the problem with what I see in a lot of people's video sales is they say, yeah, we're going to put you on a keto diet, in this example, or we're going to put you, we're going to run DM ads for you. We're going to do this thing here. The problem with that is that if they think that they can do it without you, then they're not going to go through, watch the rest of the video, and book a call to speak with you. So they need to really believe in their heart of hearts that you are the only solution to their problems. Now, this is getting a little bit advanced, so this video is going to be for all range of spectrums of people. So like if you can't think of a unique mechanism, or you don't feel like you can create whatever else it is, just create a mechanism. It doesn't have to follow this framework here, because you can still make sales, right? But just know that if somebody was seen as the only person that could solve that specific problem, then obviously that person would never have any issues with leads, calls, or sales. They would have an unlimited amount. The only reason why anybody's not making more money than they should, assuming that the market is aware of the problem in the first place, is because of competition. That's why Peter Thiel says competition is for losers. So instead of trying to create a product or service that doesn't have any competition, which is very difficult to do, you essentially can make it look like it doesn't have any competition. You can market it like it doesn't have any competition. And if you say, I write cold emails, I'll show you how to do a keto diet, people are going to say, I've tried that before. Oh, I can just Google this and do it on my own. So these are all elements that you can create really good video sales letters, is things that's like, oh, wow, I've never heard that before. It sounds really legitimate. And there's nobody else in the market that can do this. I tried to Google it on my own. I couldn't figure it out. So that's what a unique mechanism is. And I put here, the secret lies in my eat what you want diet. Now, in all honesty, I don't think that's the most scientific name that I would go through. But if you try to Google eat what you want diet, it probably wouldn't come up. I would try to work on something a little bit stronger than that. But in full transparency, every mechanism that I've created, unique mechanism, has taken me 2 to 3 weeks of like testing iterations, using AI, trying to figure out what makes the most sense. So I didn't create it for this example video here, but another example for one of our offers is the self-sustaining funnel. That's one that I created from scratch. The self-sustaining funnel doesn't even mean anything. It's a Fugazi, but it sounds legit. It's like a low ticket funnel, a lead magnet funnel, a self-sustaining funnel, right? So it's intriguing. It sounds scientific. You can't Google it. And so I kind of own that name. So that's an example of one in our offer, and you can figure out one for your offer. So in this point here, you're going to say the secret lies in our eat what you want diets. That really has 3 very important steps. And then at this point, you're going to go through the different mechanisms of what the steps are. Now, the very important part of a video sales letter, you've probably heard this before, you're always explaining the what, not the how, okay? So you're always explaining the what, not the how. Or the first thing you need to do is always have your muscles in a confusion state. Okay, I'm not going to tell them how to have it in a confusion state. I'm going to say that you need to have it in a confusion state, because if you don't, there's no way that you'll build muscles. And for step 2, I actually just ChatGPT'd this to get a few ideas from you. Step 2 is you need to follow the MTA protocol. The MTA protocol is the metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol. And this system activates your body's natural thermogenesis process, which increases your core body temperature and metabolic rate. It also helps to burn fat effectively by converting stored fat into energy while preserving lean muscle mass. And then finally, we want to do our leptin reset pathway. Now, the leptin reset pathway is a scientifically backed approach to reset your body's hunger and satiety hormones, reducing cravings and making it easier to adhere to calorie goals while preventing metabolic slowdowns often caused by conventional dieting. Boom! Those are awesome that I just pulled from ChatGPT. So by labeling that in there, I guarantee you nobody's watching this has ever heard of the metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol and the leptin reset pathway. And you're probably considering, some of you guys might even be pretty fitness. Some of you might be in the fitness industry, and those are pretty unique things that I could put inside of here. And all of this would be baked inside the larger unique mechanism, which would be whatever this name is here. I called it the secret to eating what you want diet. But obviously, like we talked about, you can make it a little bit stronger. Now, obviously, the main thing about this is don't lie. But you want to make things interesting. If I said, okay, so the secret lies in the walk it off diet. So all you need to do is eat what you want and walk 10,000 steps every day, and you can be in shape, which ironically is kind of the case, to be honest with you. But if I said that in the video sales letter, why are they going to book a call? I'm not showing my solution as the only solution. It doesn't look unique. It doesn't look like they need my help. Okay, they're just going to go walk immediately, right? So that's why if you think that this is bad and it's against marketing, then don't watch this video, okay? If you want to know how do you take a total stranger and in the shortest time frame possible convince them to buy your stuff, then you have to take them through these steps here that convinces them that you're creating a market of one, because you're the only person that's talking about this A protocol and the leptin reset pathway, okay? And so every single step there, you want them to be like, oh, yes, that does, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because right now I'm hungry all the time, and that's because my leptins are going crazy, and so instead I need to focus on this leptin reset pathway. That makes sense. And also the problem right now is that I feel like my core body temperature is not high enough. And so if I can follow this metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol, then just with this simple system, I can use my body's natural system to increase my body's core temperature. And that way I can burn calories even when I'm sleeping, right? So you want them to be like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yes, okay, that makes sense. But of course, if they tried to go do all this on their own, they wouldn't be able to. It would be too confusing to do it. And that's where the unique mechanisms lie. So this is going to be your 10-minute section of kind of showing what each step is. And remember, we're talking about the what, not the how. So I'm not going to say the metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol is this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. You do this, 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 first, second, third, because once again, they're not going to need to go after you and go to work with you. You want to just say it is the metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol. They're learning something new right then and there. Okay. Now, the next step after we say each one of those mechanism steps is we want to add social proof and credibility. Okay. So just like like we added social proof and credibility here when we made this transformation claim and statement, we're doing it here after we're saying the mechanism, because as soon as we say the mechanism, they're going to say, what? BS, baloney, fugazi, this isn't true, this guy's full of it, and so we want to back it up. So social proof and credibility, let's say we're going through this leptin reset pathway, okay? So let's say, I'll call it the RLP, okay? And step 2 is we need to follow the leptin reset pathway. The leptin reset pathway is a scientifically backed approach to reset your body's hunger and satiety hormones, reducing cravings, and making it easier to adhere to calorie goals while preventing metabolic slowdowns often caused by conventional dieting. And if you don't believe me, this is Bob here. And Bob literally couldn't stop eating every single day. He would wake up, he'd eat, he'd go to work, he'd eat, he'd snack underneath the desk, right? I'm kind of identifying who this is for and digging deeper in the pain by saying the same things that those people are experiencing. But within just 7 days of following the leptin reset pathway, Bob hasn't had one snack or fallen off his diet one time, okay? And then you could also say something like, another example of social proof and credibility, remember, is associations. So I could also say something like, and if you still don't believe me, did you know that the leptin reset pathway, according to the Harvard Business Review, is the #1 thing to blah, 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 right? So just adding every single step of the way, I'm backing it up with social proof and credibility. So essentially every single step here, it's like building a skyscraper or baking a cake or whatever you else want to say. I'm saying I can do this huge claim here. I can help you lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks, social proof and credibility. Okay, I've got their buy-in, and you can do it using this unique mechanism only I can do. Step 1 is do this. Here's the buy-in. Okay, they're with me. Step 2 is do this. Here's the social proof credibility. Okay, they're with me, and I'm just going step by step by step. I'm building this thing one at a time. A lot of people, when they write video sales letters or they're trying to write market copy, they're just like, this is their strategy. They just draw it all over. Oh yeah, whatever. Let's do this. Let's do this. Really great copywriting. It's systematic. It follows a system to get someone's buy-in throughout the entire process. So the social proof and credibility for each mechanism needs to be there to get them to watch the next mechanism. As soon as you talk about one thing and you don't back it up with social proof and credibility, they're off. They're hopping. They don't believe you, et cetera, et cetera. Let's keep it going here. So now we're going to talk about options. So what are options? Well, let's show you where we're at this point. So are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? What if I told you that I could help you lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks, guaranteed? Now, stick with me here if you're over 50 pounds overweight, if you're tired of being alone and going home every single day without a significant other, and if you have to see change today. Now, you might be wondering, who is this guy and why should I believe him in the first place? Well, my name is Ravi Abuvala. I am the world's foremost nutrition and fitness experts. I myself used to be about 450 pounds until I followed exactly what I talked about in this video, and now I'm 220 pounds with less than 10% body fat, and more important than that, I still get to eat what I want and live a regular day-to-day lifestyle. Some of the biggest names in our industries like Dr. Oz, Oprah Winfrey, and Andrew Huberman look to me for advice, and I've worked with over 683 people just like you who found themselves overweight, frustrated, and tired of trying different fads and diets into healthy, fit, and living a lifestyle that they could only previously dream of. Now, the secret in what I did and what those 683 people did lies into what I like to call the eat what you want diet, which is broken into 3 incredibly simple steps. The first one is called the metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol. And this system activates your body's natural thermogenesis process, which increases your core body temperature and metabolic rate. It helps to burn fat efficiently by converting stored fat into energy while preserving lean muscle mass. And this is exactly what took me from 450 pounds to less than 220 pounds using my body's own systems without having to resort to steroids, without having to resort to fad or crash diets, and while still living the life that I want. This also what James used over here in order to increase his metabolic thermogenesis activation rate. And believe it or not, this is exactly what Susan talks about in her brand new book, How to Beat Your Belly, something like that. Okay. Now, step 2 is going to be the leptin reset pathway. The leptin reset pathway is a scientifically backed approach to reset your body's hunger and satiety hormones, reducing cravings, and making it easier to adhere to calorie goals while preventing metabolic slowdowns often caused by conventional dieting. Here's a fun fact. Did you know in the past 4 years, I haven't had a snack? I haven't needed to, because once I follow the leptin reset pathway, I no longer have cravings or urges. I could go to a ice cream shop with my girlfriend and friends and they can pig out and I have absolutely no desire to eat that food. That keeps me on track within my macros and eating healthy. And I used to do all these crazy things, like I would close my eyes, I would have to force myself to not look at the menu or the dessert menu, but now the thought doesn't even cross my mind. And it's the same thing with insert person name over here who said that last week he was able to go to Disneyland with his kids, and they ordered 10,000 calories worth of desserts and cakes and treats, and he sat back watching them with a smile on his face, knowing that they were happy and that he was going to stay within shape, right? And the third one is this, blah, blah, blah. Now, at this point here, you must be thinking, okay, I get it. In order to lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks, I need to do these 3 things here. Well, let's talk about what your options are going to be moving forward. You could do, and then this is where you go into what their options are. Now, the mistake most people make when they're at this point in the video sales letter is they say, okay, now work with us to get this. But the problem with that is that's not how human psychology works. That's not how marketing works. That's not how copywriting works. You don't ever assume that the person's only option is to work with you, even if it is because you created the mechanisms that they needed, right? But you always need to tell them, because what are they always thinking? They could not do it. They could work with somebody else, or they could work with you. Those are almost always the 3 options, okay? Not do it, work with somebody else, or work with you. So you want to address it. You always want to insert the conversations in the prospect's mind. So you want to say something like, okay, so you could do a few things here. You could not do anything. But if you've made it this far, then you and I both know that not doing anything is not only going to keep you where you are right now, but it could potentially lead to you dying at an early age or something like that. So I'm kind of digging the pain point. And it's like, if you've watched this video up to this point, you know it's possible. All this stuff makes sense to you. So why would you not do anything? How much is that going to cost you? How much is it going to cost you to not be able to play with your kids in the future, to not be around when your daughter gets married, blah, 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 pain point, pain point. So I'm kind of hitting into the option number 1, not do anything. Option number 2, you could work with somebody else. The problem is that nobody, and I mean nobody, you can look up it online, has the combination of expertise and social proof that I have and this specific eat what you want diet in order to get these kinds of results. And so if you went somewhere else, they'd probably not only throw you on the same stuff you've already been doing previously, but they're probably going to charge you an arm and a leg, probably $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and I'm not even going to charge you a fraction of that. And your third and final option is going to be to work with me, where I can help you lose over 40 pounds in 12 weeks, guaranteed. Okay, so now I've addressed those thoughts that are going on in their head. Let's move on to the next step here, which is going to be the value stack. Okay, so at this point, I know this is repetitive, but I'm trying to really narrow this in. I've identified the pain and the problem. I've called out what I'm going to do for them. I say who this is for again. I add the social proof and credibility to back up that transformation statement. I go through why this is different and why this is unique and why I'm the only person they can work with in the mechanisms, and I back up each of those with the social proof. And then at this point, we're transitioning into the pitch. I guess I can draw this right here, right? And I can say pitch. Okay, so this is when I'm actually starting to go into, I'm about to make them an offer. And so now I say, okay, at this point, you have a few different options. You can do this by yourself. Here are the problems with that. You can work with somebody else. Here's the problems with that. It's going to cost you so much, or you can work with me. Now, let me tell you everything you get when you work with me. And this comes into what's known as value stacking. And now it's funny, when I talk about value stacking with other people, a lot of times they get like icked out by it. They get gross. They feel like they're slimy, they're marketing, they're a salesperson. But once again, you have to enter the conversation in your prospect's mind. So if I were to tell you, hey, work with me and it's going to cost you $10,000 and I'll do these things for you, one of the first things you think about, other than all these other things that we've covered over here, is going to be what's known as comparables, right? You're going to think, okay, well, $10,000, I could give Ravi $10,000, or I could go give it to the S&P 500. I could give it to this person over here. I could hire someone on Upwork or Fiverr. I could do this. You're comparing what that $10,000, what else you could do with that and what the return on investment would be, right? You do it in every single day life. That's why in real estate, if you're an agent or you ever bought or sold a home, they always deal with what's known as comparables. Because if people just threw out any price that they wanted to, then it would obviously be a pretty difficult real estate market. But instead they say, hey, you're trying to buy this 3-bedroom, 4-bath house. Well, here are 6 other 3-bedroom, 4-bath house that have almost all the exact same features as it. Here are the price points here. So you know that this one should be somewhat around that price point. Okay. So that's how people think. They can make comparisons between prices between two different things. When you're making an offer to them, they're making that comparison in their mind. But you don't want to let them make the comparison in their mind. You don't want them to think that they know what you're going to offer them and the mechanisms. You don't want them to think that, oh, I'll just go do this on my own. You want to address all of this stuff before they even think about it. So you're going to give them the value stack, and you're going to say, and this is everything that you get if you work with me. First of all, we're going to pick out all your meals and your custom meals so we can make sure that you stay in that metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol. So I'm going to custom build your meals from day one. If you were to go out and have a nutritionist do this for you, they'd probably charge you $2,000. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom workout plan that allows you to make sure your muscles stay in muscle confusion. If you paid a personal trainer to do this, they'd probably pay you $500 to $1,000, and they don't understand muscle confusion like I understand muscle confusion. The third thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you daily accountability. So I'm going to be inside Slack channel with you. I'm going to in your text messages with you. I'm going to be calling you every single day, and I'm going to be there if you want to grab that snack on the way home, if you feel like cheating, if you feel like resting. I'm going to be giving you check-ins. I'm going to be checking out your form. I'm going to be making sure everything works for you. If you had an impersonal personal trainer doing this for you with the amount of touch points I'm going to do, it probably costs you $900. In addition to that, I'm going to show you our leptin reset pathway system, and I'm going to show you the 2 supplements that you need to take, nothing else, and you'll never have to feel a craving again. If you went to a doctor to try to figure this out, it'll probably take you 4 or 5 visits and cost you close to $3,000. So boom, boom, value stack, $1,000, $3,000, $2,000. Now, a good thing to note is that I'm not making up these numbers. You do want to make comparable numbers. So if I say you're going to go to a personal trainer, they're going to charge you $60,000 for this, it's obviously going to be BS. So the reason why people feel icky when it comes to the value stack is because they're just making stuff up. They're making it a lie, and so because it's a lie, it doesn't make sense. But if you make it real, then that's how human psychology works. And so do some research, call some people, see how much it would cost in order to get it done. A fun fact is, I've done this multiple times, but at one of our in-person events, I did over $1.3 million in under 60 minutes, and I spent, I think, 25 minutes of the 60 minutes just on the value stack, because I was showing them everything that was included by me doing this for them, and the price of what they would do it on there. And it ended up being close to $800,000, and every single thing was legit. This is how much it would be if they get it on their own. And I said, you can get it today for just $50,000 payment plan, $40,000 pay in full. Okay. So that's the value stack. Boom, 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 boom. And let's go to the next stage here. And this is going to be the risk reversal. So this is where you're going to say, you're going to get all this stuff here. And if you don't lose 40 pounds, not only am I going to give you all of your money back, but I'm also going to write you a check for $1,000 for wasting your time. That's that third version of risk reversal we talked about earlier, where you're not working with them longer. You're not just giving their money back. You're literally giving them their money back and writing a check for wasting their time. So that's a huge risk reversal that you can add inside of here. So let's go back through our sales letter formula so far. Are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? Well, I can help you lose 40 pounds in the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. And if you're, keep on watching this video, if you're at least 50 pounds overweight, if you're tired of not finding the right partner and you need to see a change immediately. Now you're probably wondering, who is this guy and why should I listen to him? Well, my name is Abuvala, and I've done these things here. Now the secret in losing this weight and what you've seen with these 683 people lies in these unique mechanisms here. Number 1, number 2, number 3, social proof, social proof, social proof. Now you're probably thinking, what are my options? Could I just go out and do this by myself? Well, you can't for this reason here. Well, maybe I'll just go work with somebody else. Well, you can't for this reason here. So if you want to do this, you need to work with me. And let me tell you what it's like to work with me. Value stack here, and the very end of blowing them away with all the value you have. And you say, and on top of all that, not only do you get all this, but if we don't lose you 40 pounds in 12 weeks, I'm going to give you all your money back, plus I'm going to write you a check for $1,000. Risk reversal at this point is a total no-brainer, and we go into the bonuses. Oh my God, this guy's got bonuses? Yes, you got bonuses, because they're already hooked. They're already, yes, they want to do this, they want to do this, and so you're just feeding them. You're tossing them more. They're just salivating at the mouth right now. Oh my God, more. I can't believe this. This is too good to be true, right? And so you're giving them more on top of what they already thought that they wanted. Of course, the bonuses need to be things that they actually want, but this is how you turn it to where people get on the call and they're like, yes, I want it immediately. Same thing with the millions of dollars or $1.3 million I made in 60 minutes. That's also from I value stacked a crazy amount of bonuses inside of it. And you're value stacking it as well. So you're saying, hey, and if you say yes today, if you're one of the first 10 people to take me up on this offer, not only are you going to get all this stuff I talked about in the value stack, not only do you get the money back guarantee, but I'm also going to give you my three dating tricks to getting you back in the game. Because the truth is, you've been so long out of the game because you've been so out of shape that the game has changed. You no longer walk up and meet somebody at a bar. Actually, today, you're considered a creep if you were to talk to somebody at the bar. But I'm going to show you the 3 dating tricks, the actually only 2 words that you need to say online, and I'm going to show you how to optimize your dating profile to get your ideal significant other, right? And if you want to, you try to buy into some kind of dating or coaching program or a pickup thing, that's probably going to be an additional $1,000. In addition to that, I'm also going to do blah, 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 blah. So just boom, boom, boom. It's like, oh my God, this is the solution to all my problems. They have everything I need, and they've thought of every single problem that I'm probably going to come up with. Another example, a great one I just thought of would be some kind of tailoring service as another bonus, right? So, okay, so great. You were tired of seeing yourself naked. You were tired of being lonely. We lost you all this weight. But the problem is you don't have one piece of clothing that fits you anymore. Well, if you're going to get out there and get back in the dating game, you can't be looking like a scrub. So I'm actually going to show you my 12-course series where I'm with one of the #1 tailors in the world, and we're going to show you exactly how to dress to impress. And I'm going to show you how you can get an entire capsule wardrobe, everything you need 7 days a week for over 30 different outfits for less than $2,000, right? If you went out and you tried to hire this personal trainer or personal tailor on your own, they'd probably charge you $1,500 an hour for their time. You're going to get this all included when you say yes today to the Eat What You Want diets. Okay, so boom, these bonuses are related to the mechanisms and the main offer that I'm offering them in the first place. And then we value stack one more time. Okay, so if you say yes today, not only do you get the custom meal plan pick out, not only do you get our muscle confusion theory thing, not only do you get daily accountability, not only do you get the leptin pathway accountability, not only do you get our 3 tricks for getting back in the dating game, not only do you get the the custom tailor. Not only do you get whatever else you want to add, but you get it all for 100% money back guarantee. And if you don't see the results, I write you a check for $1,500, right? So that's the finale. That's when everybody stands up, they applaud, you bow, you feel great about yourself because there's no way they could say no at this point. So you're value stacking one more time. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, you hit them with the call to action, right? You hit them with now you hit them with the take the next step to speak with me. And the truth is that at this point, and I'm going to go through this full VSL for you one more time. Not only at this point, they have essentially bought into the entire offer. If they got on a call with you in the next 10 minutes, they would be selling themselves on why they need to buy your stuff. Okay, that's where you want your people to get on. If you get on and somebody says, let's say you get on a sales call with somebody and they say, yeah, who are you and what do you do? Get off that call, send them the video sales letter because that's all covered in that. And it's all covered way better than if you try to cover it on a sales call, okay? Because this has the graphics, this has the illustrations, especially if you're not taking the sales call, right? So that's why you always want some kind of qualification process to make sure this person has that pain, urgency, and understands what your offer is about in the first place. So the final step is the price and call to action. And this is where I say price and call to action because, if you're watching this video and you're trying to create a video sales letter for a product that's less than $2,000, you could go straight to the price right here. Because at this point, if you did this full value stack, you could say this is all worth $24,000. And I'm not even going to charge you $12,000 if you say yes today. I'm not going to charge you $6,000 if you say yes today. I'm not even going to charge you $3,000 if you say yes today. And believe it or not, I'm not even going to charge you $1,500 to say yes today. You can get everything that I talked about today for one low payment of $997, right? That's pretty hard to beat if you make it. Now, the thing is that's only if it's less than $2,000. If it's greater than $2,000, then you're almost always going to need some kind of sales call because that's a decent amount of money for someone to part with. And as good as your video sales letter is, they probably have more questions, more like offer implication questions, meaning how does this specifically apply to me because I have kids, I'm lactose intolerant, I'm enter XYZ reason here. And so that's when you would make, instead of dropping the price and a button to buy, you would drop the call to action to, hey, go down below, book a call to speak to myself and one of my team members. And that way you can get them on the call and they've consumed all this stuff here. And you better believe that if they've watched this full video sales letter, that they're going to be buying. And a great test when you get on a call with somebody, a great test of whether they watched the video sales letter or not is you say, so what brought you on this call? They're going to say word for word, your unique mechanism or the pain point that you said in the very beginning. If they don't say that, it means they haven't watched the video sales letter. But if they come on and they say, yeah, when you talked about the leptin reset pathway, it clicked in my mind. I knew immediately this is the reason why I haven't been losing the weight that I need to. And you're just going to be smiling. You're going to be grinning. You're going to be thanking Ravi Abuvala because this person's coming in and they've watched the full video sales letter. And it's going to be a slam dunk close. Okay. If they come in and they go, yeah, I think like I want to lose weight. Well, you could probe a little bit deeper and see like if they've actually watched the video or not. But most of the time they haven't. And so you really want to guide them back to the video. And another quick word on this as well is what a lot of people will do is they will try to break up the video sales letter into multiple different areas and have them watch, like, let's say they book a call. They send them 40 video testimonials and case studies after they book the call. And that's because they didn't do it before they booked the call. And so you want to, if you can condense this all down into one video, and let's say it's 8 to 12 minutes long, then you don't need to send them 50 videos. They can just watch one video. Now, let me finish this by going through the full formula. And I'm going to give you one additional little hack that can literally probably double your conversion rate for the video sales letter. And then I'm going to show you how to get our video sales letter script. Okay. So I'm going to walk through this full thing with you. So please be patient with me. So, are you embarrassed to see yourself naked? Look, my name is Ravi Abuvala, and I can help you lose 40 pounds the next 12 weeks, guaranteed. Now, keep on watching this video if you're at least 50 pounds overweight, if you're tired of not finding your significant other, and if you need to see a change today. Now, you're probably wondering, who is this guy and why should I listen to him in the first place? Well, my name is Ravi Abuvala, and I'm the world's leading most expert in fitness and nutrition. Some of the biggest influencers around come to me for advice when they're trying to get in shape. People like whoever that actor is from Thor, and Oprah Winfrey, and Dr. Oz, and blah, blah, blah here. I've also worked with over 683 men over the age of 30 that are over 50 pounds, helping them getting less than 200 pounds with less than 10% body fat, living the life of their dreams. The thing that I've done that's helped this 683 people, well, it lies in what I call the eat what you want diet, which is really composed of three certain things. The first is going to be the metabolic thermogenesis activation protocol. This system activates your body's natural thermogenic process, which increases your body temperature and metabolic rate. It helps to burn fat efficiently by converting stored fat into energy while preserving lean muscle mass. Here's the example of the person here that has done that exact same thing. The second thing is going to be the leptin reset pathway. Now, the leptin reset pathway is a scientifically backed approach to reset your body's hunger and satiety hormones, reducing cravings and making it easier to adhere to calorie goals while preventing metabolic slowdowns often caused by conventional dieting. Here's this person over here who went to Disney World with her kids. He had a huge smile on his face because he had no desire to enter into any of that shenanigans, and he could stay on his diet. And then third mechanism here, fourth mechanism here, blah, blah, blah. So now you know that the eat what you want diet is the reason why you are embarrassed to see yourself naked, while you're overweight, while all the other stuff doesn't work. Let's talk about what your options are moving forward. Well, one, you could do nothing. Well, you and I both know that if you made it this far in this video, you're not going to do nothing, because much more of this doing nothing is probably going to lead you to an early grave. And I'm sorry if that scares you, but you need someone to tell you that, because did you know that the obesity rate and more people die from heart attacks in the United States than anything else in the world, which is caused by obesity, blah, blah, blah. Now, the second step you could do is you go out and you could try to do this all else on your own. But the problem is nobody has this all together in one program like I do. You'd have to go consult a doctor, find a doctor, make sure they understood this protocol. That's probably going to cost you a few $1,000s and at least a dozen hours of your time. You have to find a personal trainer to get your muscle confusion down. You need to go pay them probably $1,000, blah, blah, blah. And so it's all going to end up costing you $15,000 and dozens of hours of your time. Or you could just work with me, where I'm going to be able to do all of this for you. Now, let me walk you through exactly what you would get if you were to work with me and follow this eat what you want diet. Value stack thing here, value stack thing here. We'll pick your meals out. We'll create the custom meal plan. We'll give you daily accountability. We'll create the leptin pathway for you. Boom, 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 boom. Value, 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 value. It's worth this. It's worth this. It's worth this. All of this together is worth $24,000. But that's not all. If you follow all of these steps and you don't lose at least 40 pounds in 12 weeks, well, not only am I going to give you all of your money back, but I'm going to write you a check out of my own pocket for $1,500 for wasting your time. Now, that's how much I believe in the eat what you want diets. And I know right now you're probably ready to go and pull the trigger. But if you know me, you'll know that I'm a man of over-delivering. So if you say yes today, I'm also going to give you, number one, my 3 dating trips for getting back on the saddle. Now, you and I both know you've been out of the game for a while, and that's not your fault. You just haven't felt confident enough to go out there. But the dating landscape has changed even in the last year. I mean, heck, it changes every single month. So I'm going to give you an up-to-date system to keeping you the hottest looking person around, getting you a calendar packed full of dates with women that you only previously dreamed of. The other issue you're going to find is that your clothes aren't going to fit you anymore. And trust me, you don't want to go down to your local Gap, because there's no way you're going to go out dating if you're buying at Gap. But you also don't want to go to a custom tailor and spend with them $10,000 to get a few clothes that you probably might outgrow in a little bit anyway. So what we're going to do for you is we're going to create a capsule wardrobe for less than $2,000 with one of the #1 tailors in the world. So just to recap, if you were to work with me and say yes today, you're going to get the meal plans, you're going to get the custom accountability, the custom meal plan, the workout plans, these 2 bonuses here. And if we do all of this stuff together, which is worth $26,000, and you don't see results, we'll give you all your money back and we'll write you a check for $15,000. And all you need to do right now is go below and book a call to speak with myself or one of my team members, where we'll walk you through the rest of the process, give you a custom plan, and talk about what the next steps could be, right? Boom, bada bing, bada boom. That's your video sales letter formula. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want the template of this, where it's broken down way more into step-by-step, so you can just kind of almost Mad Libs it and change out my words to make your words, just go to my Instagram, Ravi Abuvala, and DM me the word VSL, video sales letter, and I will personally reach back out and I will send you the template that you need. Plus, I'll also send you this graphic so you can have both of those and create your next video sales letter in a matter of minutes. So go to my Instagram and message me VSL and I'll send you it immediately.